Hello everyone and welcome to this FPL Gameweek 3 live stream with me, Holly Shand. There's been some phenomenal support on the channel this week, so hope you enjoy this latest video. Got a lot to cover today. I've put a poll out already with the big question for this week, which is on captaincy for Game Week 3. There's only two options there at the minute, which are Mo Salah and Gabriel Jesus. That decision looks to be dividing the community right now, so it's going to be an interesting one, that's for sure. In today's video then, I'm going to be looking at my team reveal for Game Week 3, still a few dilemmas I may need some help on, and also answering your questions before the deadline. You may have noticed that the stream is looking a little bit different today. Got a little bit of a new background behind me. Hope you enjoy it. I'm on Sky Sports tomorrow for their FPL show preview for Game Week 3. That's in the UK, by the way, 10:40 Sky Sports News, and they basically asked if I could get a more exciting background. Didn't have any football shirts, managed to call in a loan. That's why Chelsea are up there. Apologies, Chelsea fans. I've not suddenly turned into a Chelsea fan. I tried to hide behind it actually, but yeah, got the England shirt up there, the Grimsby shirt as well. Many of you know I'm from Grimsby, so that's why they are up there. They've made the cut. But it's probably a welcome addition in here as well. Hopefully not too much background noise today. I've done my best to make sure to reduce the echo. There's a lot going on outside as well, so fingers crossed my neighbours are having building work done. Hopefully they're all on their dinner break today. But you'll see as well, I'm wearing the club hat. Club is, they very kindly sent me this hat actually, by the way. Apparently there are only 10 of them out there, so you know this could be hot property when Club goes big. But Club is basically a football game. It's a mix of like FIFA, Football Manager, FPL, a few other things mixed in there as well. Big fantasy element in the early days of it at the moment, but something that you can sign up to the waiting list for and hopefully get involved with at some point. So we'll start by doing some hellos, so do jump in the live chat and say hello. Trying to get to 100 likes on this video, so smash that like button if you're here, and thank you so much for 13,000 subs as well. I'm thrilled by that. So a few people already in the chat saying hello, which is lovely to see. Niraj is in, as is Alif. Big Dog Crier, welcome. Fearless86, Murphy is in. Thank you everyone for joining me today, and we're going to start to, let me just put the chat on screen so that we can see everyone who is in. You'll also see my team for Game Week 3 on your screens at the minute. Some big decisions to make ahead of Game Week 3. At the moment, I've made no transfers, and if you watched my team selection video earlier in the week, you'll see that I was hoping to roll the free transfer. However, there are a few issues with this. First of all, what on earth is going on with Perisic? We saw comments yesterday from Conte in his press conference basically saying, we don't know whether Perisic will be available for Game Week. He didn't say he didn't think Perisic would be available, but he did mention that he's kind of sticking with his main team from last season, and then the new players will get more opportunities as the season ticks on when there's 3 games a week. So that does cause some concerns, especially because Perisic played less minutes in Game Week 2 than he did in Game Week 1. I'm hoping he gets a start, but obviously there are no guarantees that he will, so that's a little bit of a concern for me at the moment. But I know he's going to get some sort of minutes, and you know, even in 20 minutes he could do okay v Wolves. And it's so frustrating because the fixtures are good, but then you look and there's, you know, there's going to be rotation 4, 5, 6 where we've got the midweek fixture. Then we've got Champions League in there as well. And it's like, I could see him probably playing Game Week 5 against West Ham being his first start, missing the easier teams, the promoted teams either side. So he'll get minutes in Game Week 3. Hopefully we get some early team leaks because it is the early kickoff. No guarantees there, of course. I just don't want to be holding a player I don't think is going to start every week, even though we know he can be very good as a substitute. So that's something that I need to consider at the moment. The other thing is I'm waiting on Silva's press conference on the availability of Andreas, who's currently flagged with a knock. But if he's available for Brentford, then I will be happy to play him. And then I've got Neto and Bailey on the bench, and Archer, of course, as well. But my other concern is with it, we've seen this campaign of potential protests at Old Trafford for the Monday night game between Manchester United and Liverpool. There is a very small chance that that game will be called off. I don't think it will, but we have seen it happen in the past, so it's just something that we need to be mindful of when we know what's going on. So having triple Liverpool against Manchester United and knowing my bench is weak does make me concerned, which is why I have started thinking maybe I should make a transfer. We looked at Saka to Martinelli on the team selection. One pair of moves, and this is the thing, I can't monitor the early team leaks because I'm on Sky Sports News, but one thing I have looked at doing, Bailey and Perisic are the banes in my squad at the moment, and I don't really like anyone cheaper than Bailey. I kind of want to go up, and to do that I need to get funds out of either Saka, Robertson and Perisic, and right now Saka seems the weak link. So I want to know your opinions on this. The moves I'm looking at making are Bailey up to Martinelli, and I'm getting the funds from Perisic by going to Neco Williams. So that is something that I'm looking at that I'd like to hear your opinions on. Kind of staying a little bit fluid with the formation there. If I just show you, I don't know if this is going to work actually, because I don't know if I'm logged in. Am I logged in? Is it going to remember my password? Maybe I don't need to be logged in. It's not going to let me in, is it? The thing that I need to consider, I'll tell you what, I'll go back on this screen and then I should be able to log in anyway. The thing that I need to think about is how that formation works over the next few weeks in terms of the players that I'm bringing in. Will my team be strong enough for the next few weeks if I go with this formation? So that's the thing that I've got to bear in mind, which is why I want to show you when I've got logged in the My Team tool on Fantasy Football Hub. Sorry, I switched browsers for today's stream as well, which has made it a little bit awkward because I couldn't get Twitter to load last week and it was really annoying me. So you can go on this live team, My Team feature on Fantasy Football Hub, and it should remember your squad. If you put your team ID in, you don't need to give them any login details for FPL or anything like that. Why isn't it working? I give up. Anyway, so I'd be able to play Neco Williams this week, which is something that I'm looking at doing, and then Neto can come back in, you see. So in game week 4, 5, 6, I kind of want to play Neto, but I want to bench him this week. So that's the kind of the move that I'm looking at making at the moment. But if Perisic starts, I'm going to want Perisic. So I really need some help from you guys in the chat to tell me whether you think those moves are nice or not. I mean, if we look at the fixtures, and this is why, this is the thing. At the moment, Martinelli has been outscoring Saka. But I still think Saka will come good, and he's on penalties. I don't really want to lose him. But over the next 6, you know, Brighton and then Arsenal have got the best fixtures. And given Arsenal's form, I'd really like, I'm just going to close this so that I don't actually accidentally make the transfer. I do really want to triple up on Arsenal. So this would allow me to triple up on Arsenal. Some weeks I'd play Neco Williams. Some weeks I'd play Andreas. Some weeks I'd play Neto. So I've kind of got a core of 4 in the defence, 3 in the midfield and 2 up front. And then I've got that flexible final man that's Andreas or Neto or Neco Williams, depending on who's got the better fixture, which I'm quite intrigued by. So what I want to know from you guys in the chat is what you think to those moves, whether you think they're a good idea or not. So please do let me know. And if you are in here as well, can you please like the stream as well? Really want to get to 100 likes today. It just helps to get this out to as many people as possible. So I'm going to just have a look at some of your comments right now to see what you think in terms of my potential moves, and then I am going to get onto your questions as well, guys, so fear not. Alif said, I like those transfers. Oh, Pro has said Pereira is fine. Fulham posted a training video from the derby and he's there. Oh, well, that is good news. And some words on Perisic, and this is the thing, right, with Perisic. All of the Spurs journalists on Football London have all predicted him to be in the starting 11. So it's like, if he's going to start, then I really want him. Danish said Martinelli is essential. Big Dog Cryer, keep Saka on Penja. I am going to keep him. Kavir says Robertson to Neco and then Andreas to Martinelli. That doesn't help me though, does it, in terms of, I'm happy to keep Andreas as my first sub, my cheap midfielder. It's Bailey is the one that I need to get rid of. Subraman says, Martinelli's stats are decent and he will get sub for Smith Rowe, so that Arteta prepares Smith Rowe and give him some more game time. Saka yet to hit for me. And this is something that I touched on my team selection video, is that Saka is going to come good. He's been playing a little bit more defensive. You can, if I show you the comparison, I know I did this on the team selection, so apologies if you've seen this already, but when you compare Saka and Martinelli has been the better player so far, as you can see on this radar on Fantasy Football Hub. Been more advanced, more central. Saka's been helping Ben White out at right back because Tomiyasu's been out. Tomiyasu played some minutes in game week 2, so he should come back in for game week 3, and then at that point I think Saka will be given a bit more licence to go forward. So I do think Saka's going to come good. So even though I was kind of debating early in the week, do I go Saka down to Martinelli, I do want to give Saka some more time because I do think long term he's the better option. So the only other option would be to sell Robertson, but obviously I don't want to do that either. So I am leaning towards rolling the transfer. So thank you just for your contributions on that, guys. It has really helped. And as promised, I am going to be looking at your questions in a minute. Just to remind you about Fantasy Football Hub, I'm going to be showing you all of their tools on this stream, but the 50% off memberships where you can get access to the Opta Stats tool, the fixture ticker, the comparison tool, the 50% off offer ends very, very soon. So if you are interested in Fantasy Football Hub membership, click the link in the description to this video. That's my affiliate link. And they're also running that offer until the end of September of win your mini league or your money back, which is, you know, a brilliant offer from them. So that's just something to look out for if you aren't a member there already. But if we get back, if I hop back to the chat now and put my team back on screen as well so that you can see all of that going on. As I said already, if you haven't liked the stream yet, please do. Just helps me to get it out to more people. 95 of you watching now. It'd be great to hit 100. 31 of you have liked it. So let's get that up to 100. That would be brilliant. And make sure you vote in the poll. But put your questions in the live chat and I will try and get round to answering as many of them as I can over the next 45 minutes. I'm going to scroll back up to the top because I don't want to miss those people that were in early. Sorry, let me just get the right thing selected so that I can see all of your messages. I think I'm just struggling to load the very top ones. Alice says, I've taken Robbo and Neto out for Diaz and me. What are your thoughts? Should I be playing me this week or Andreas? I'm not going to criticise your transfers if you've already made them, Alif. I think they're fine moves. I would have maybe been a bit more patient on Robertson, given that he plays the team at the bottom of the Premier League this week. And Neto has got good fixtures around the corner, but Diaz, I think it's very good to be doubled up on that Manchester City defence. Yet to concede a goal this season. And the other thing that I really liked when looking at the Man City defence is that if you look at teams in terms of big chances conceded so far this season, Man City have conceded 0. So, you know, their defence has looked very solid. So doubling up on that defence is something that I've done, and I think is something that you should be very happy with. So would you play Ben Mee or Andreas this week? It depends what news we get. I think the fact that Fulham are at home, the fact that Mitrovic is in such great goal-scoring form still, even with the step up to the Premier League, means I'd back Fulham to score. I don't think Brentford, even though they've looked good defensively, I don't think they're going to get a clean sheet the way Fulham are performing. Look, it was 2-2, wasn't it, at home for Fulham against Liverpool on the opening day of the season. So I think that shows you everything. Even though Brentford have only conceded one big chance, if you actually look at shots conceded, you know, Brentford are in, let me just sort this the other way so that you can see, Brentford are within the top 5 teams for shots conceded. So they are conceding a lot of opportunities, even if they're not huge opportunities. Just having a look at headed attempts, they've conceded 6 headed attempts so far as well. And you know who is the main man for those headed attempts? Mitrovic. So yeah. I'm so sorry guys, I don't know what happened. My computer just randomly just switched itself off midstream. What an absolute nightmare. So sorry to have left you all guys. Hopefully everything is back working now. Please tell me in the chat if it is. I'm so annoyed. Cannot trust technology. It's a right pain, but hopefully you're back. I'm back. We can get back to some questions. I think I was just in the middle of answering a question, so we've wasted a few minutes there, but hopefully you can stick with me. I do apologise. Hopefully my computer will start behaving itself again. Sorry, right, where were we then? So I think I've only just answered the first question, so we've got time to claw it back. I don't think we need to worry too much. I am just going to make sure that everything is still working now. Chat is on the screen, so should all be good. My team is on the screen as well, so I'm going to get back to your questions as promised. I'll do my best to answer as many as I can. I'll stay on a few minutes longer as well. Be wrapping up just after 1 o'clock, so plenty of time for your questions. Danish to Ash, should I bench Andreas, Neco Williams or De Silva? I think I would bench De Silva of those because I think he's got the worst goal threat. Similar question from Peter, do I start De Silva or Neco Williams? I would start Neco Williams. Siddharth mentions Gordon. Yeah, I'm just not that convinced on Gordon yet. I don't think we've seen... I mean, he's been starting up front. Forest at home. On paper, it looks like a good fixture, but there's been lots of speculation in the window. I'm just not that convinced by him as an option. Danish says, do I get Martinelli? I know we've already discussed Martinelli in some detail, but he is going to be a phenomenal player this season. He's so cheap at 6.3. Certainly need to be looking for a route to get him in at some point. 2 goals already this season in 2 games, and his underlying numbers have been okay. They've not been sensational. Is this going to load again for me? So he's had 3 shots, 2 big chances, 2 goals. So he's been quite clinical with his opportunities, 5 key passes. But the thing that I really like about Gabriel Jesus is his link-up play. The thing I like most about Gabriel Martinelli is his link-up play with Gabriel Jesus, and that pair are going to be a surefire way to points this season. Look at the fixtures: Bournemouth, Fulham, Villa, Man United, Everton, Brentford, the next 6. I think it is an easy decision to get Martinelli in if you haven't already. Zuba said, what about the new Patterson kid at Everton? Yeah, he's good in terms of being a cheap starter, but I think Forest are better than Everton, certainly with the signings they've made. And the other thing to bear in mind, if I just filter defensive stats on the Hub Opta Stats tool by expected goal involvement for defenders, Neco Williams is top. In terms of defenders, he's had the most shots on goal. He's created 3 key passes, which puts him in the top 10. He's in a different league. This is why I want to get him in for Perisic. I feel like Neco Williams is just a young Perisic, and we've seen Conte going on about the fact that Perisic is not the same player that he's known, which makes me think that, you know, potentially he's not going to be the one to go for this season. So that's what I'm thinking in terms of that one at the moment. We've hit 50 likes. Thank you so much. We've got over 100 of you in at the moment. If you are in, let's help me hit that 100 likes on that video. Keep smashing that like button, guys. It'd be lovely to reach that target on today's stream. So pro skills, I've got Pereira as well because Bailey most likely won't start. Yeah, I think it's good to be playing Pereira this week. Sounds like he is going to be available, so that's a good pick. Nick has got 2 questions. Cash, is he available and will he play against Palace? It's time to get rid of these Villa assets now. They've conceded 3 goals in their opening 2 games. The fixtures are okay for this week, but then after that, I mean, Crystal Palace away is not an easy fixture by any stretch of the imagination. Then I've got West Ham, Arsenal, Man City, Leicester. I think if you've got Matty Cash at the moment, you need to be looking at Cucurella, Kyle Walker, Perisic even. I think he's an easy sell this week if you've got no other issues. And then you're also wanting to know who should I sell Bailey with 1 million in the bank. I think if you could go Bailey to Martinelli and you could maybe go someone like Lewis Dunk at 4.5, you could be able to afford it at that. So that's something to consider. Bishal says Son as captain. Yeah, I was really surprised, right, to see Son got a price drop overnight. So he's now 11.9 million. I think he's going to be a great option this season. We just haven't really seen it yet. But Spurs fixtures are pretty good over the next 4. Wolves, Forest, West Ham, Fulham. So I'm surprised to see managers selling Son. I think the fact that Kevin De Bruyne started the season so strongly and he's got that link-up play with Haaland is possibly one of the reasons why it's happened, but I still think Son is a good option. I think he's a good captain option, but I think if you're looking at captain this week, the 2 key players are the ones in the poll. Salah and Gabriel Jesus. That would be where I would look first, and then beyond that, you can potentially look at some other options. But right now, I think they are the best options to go for, with Spurs coming in 3rd of those options. That would be where I'd be looking at the moment. There's over 100 of you in here, so thank you everyone who has joined. Please keep these questions coming and I'll do my best to answer as many as possible. Still going to be here for another half an hour or so, so I should get through quite a few of them. Alif, I have Saka, Martinelli, Salah and Diaz as my nailed mids. Yeah, to be fair, I think now we've seen what has happened with Darwin Núñez, 3-match suspension. Diaz seemed to come alive after that point. I was really impressed with everything that I saw from Luis Diaz after Núñez got sent off. And I think now I'm looking at my own team thinking, and I might come on to this a bit later actually. I have been thinking about potentially playing the wild card because I am wondering now. I was really adamant that Robertson was the 3rd Liverpool player to go with at the start of the season. I still think the triple up on Liverpool is valid, but right now I think that Luis Diaz could be the better option, particularly over the next 3. Núñez is out, Jota is injured, and Diaz just looked really fired up. I think Diaz wasn't really enjoying playing with Darwin Núñez, which could be a little bit of a concern long term. But I think he's better when playing as a false 9 or with a false 9 than with an out-and-out number 9. So be interested to see how he performs over the next 3. Siddharth says, rate my team for wildcard. I'm only seeing about 4 names in there, Siddharth. So please, if you want your full team rated, do check out my memberships and rate my team service. I can't do the full team on here. Kana says, no excitement for Onana. No. I know everyone, I just can't get excited about Everton players. Where is he? Is it Everton? Am I losing my mind? It's been a long week. There he is. I just can't get excited. I know he obviously got the assist against Villa, but still, it's not great. Not that exciting. I think there are better options out there than Onana right now. So, you know, have a think about that. Next question. Big Dog Crier, I'd get rid of Robertson. Liverpool not looking good. Could go Robertson to Cucurella and Neto to Zaha. I think if I was getting funds out of Robertson, this is dangerous, guys, because I'm going to end up building a wildcard team here. I can tell. I feel like you'd have to get Reece James. I wasn't that hot on Reece James at the start of the season, but the thing to consider with Reece James is he's going to get opportunities at right wing back, even if it isn't every single game. He is going to get attacking returns. He's going to get clean sheets. 14 attacking returns last season, and he wasn't even, you know, the best defender in terms of minutes. So if he can get his minutes up, played 90 minutes, really encouraging the first 2 games, then, you know, could be a great option. Let's go back to my team, though, before I get too sidetracked making moves that I don't want to make. Zakaria Rodrigo was absolutely differential for game week 1 and 2. Yeah, he's looked fantastic. One of the top scorers at the start of the season, and now Bamford is injured again. Let's be honest, we could see that coming. I do think that Rodrigo could do really well over the next few games. Obviously not the easiest of fixtures, but once you've got the Chelsea game out of the way, it's Brighton, Everton, Brentford, Forest, Manchester United, Villa, Crystal Palace. You've kind of got a really nice 7. So I think a lot of managers, oh, just not my mic. Hopefully a lot of managers will see them making that move. Andy is in. Hi, Andy. Thank you for supporting my memberships once again. Considering Maddison as my differential captain for this week, what do you think? Or should I play it safe with Gabriel Jesus? I'm also playing my wildcard. Wow, big week, Andy. I think Maddison is a nice option for captaincy. My only concern, I do think that we will see Leicester come alive this week against Southampton at home. Maddison already has 2 attacking returns for the season. He got 23 attacking returns last season from 2,454 minutes. He's played 90 minutes in both games as well. Let me just have a look at his numbers. I do like to, you know, look at the form and the fixtures before I make decisions. I think he had like 6 shots in game week 1. Only had a couple in game week 2. I think he could come good, but I do think he has overperformed to date, Andy. I still think he's a great option, and the fact that he's got a home game really helps. I'm just trying to justify it for you, Andy. I would personally go with Gabriel Jesus, though. But if we look at Southampton, they're in the top 4 for shots conceded, 2nd for shots in the box conceded, 2nd for shots on target conceded. Set pieces are a bit better. Big chances conceded, they're about mid-table. So I can see the appeal of Captain Maddison. It wouldn't be the way that I would play the game. I'd go safe with Gabriel Jesus. But if you want to go rogue, then I hope it works out for you, Andy. Good luck with your wildcard, and thanks so much for supporting my memberships. Right, let's get back to where I was in the questions. Nakeem says, play Neco Williams or take a -4 for Martinelli. I play Neco Williams, he looks great. Lel says, is Harvey Elliott a good option? I mean, he's going to get minutes because, there's so many injuries in the Liverpool midfield at the moment. The trouble is, he's coming back from a long injury himself. 39 minutes and 78 minutes in the opening couple of game weeks. You're not going to get 90 minutes from him. And he still hasn't got an attacking return in the Premier League. So that's why he's 5 million. He's an absolute talent for the future. But I think there are better options. A lot of us managers are tripled up on Liverpool options. So for me, I think you need to bide your time and get in a Liverpool player that you really want. By the way, guys, there's 9.2 million managers playing FPL now this season. That's more than last season. Gabriel Jesus, 79.1% of teams. That's why, to really see the benefit of a Jesus haul, you either need to captain him or be doubled or tripled up on that attack with Saka, Martinelli, etc. to really reap the reward of the Arsenal points, because they have looked very impressive to start the season. Great fixtures ahead as well. Nick says, my opinion on Perisic, as long as Sessegnon performs, he will play. Yeah, he has looked good, and that is a concern. Younger player, arguably the better player right now. Sebastian, Robertson, Bailey, Archer out, Tony, Dunk and a 4.5 million mid in. Yeah, I just don't really want another 4.5 million mid. I feel like the 5-2-3 is kind of the formation for this season. Mohammed says play Andreas or De Silva. Andreas is far more attacking. I couldn't actually believe the amount of people that have transferred in De Silva this week. It's just crazy. 640,000 managers. Obviously, he got 2 goals in 2 games. That's just refreshed for no reason. What is going on? Not trusting my computer today at all. I give up. We're not going to stay on that tab. But De Silva's been transferred in by 600,000 managers. He scored 2 goals from 2 shots this season outside the box. He is not going to continue that goal scoring form. Someone clip that up, and I can imagine that being trolled with that every time he scores now this season. It'll be like this season's Capu or Souček. Aish says, is it worth giving a punt and captaining Martinelli? I don't think so. I've thought about it. Hopefully you could see the cogs turning. But no, I don't think it's worth it. I think what you need to think about really is Jesus is the more attacking player. He's playing higher up the pitch. He's more involved. He's involved in everything. He's the one to go for. Don't try and be clever and captain Martinelli instead. Just want to actually see. Now we've looked at it. So Jesus on 21 points this season. Martinelli 16. So not that far behind. Hold my coffee mug. Start Neco or De Silva. Start Neco. Niraj, hi Holly. Hi, thank you for joining. Walker or Cucurella? I think I missed your question earlier, didn't I, Niraj? So thank you for putting it in again. Walker or Cucurella? I'd personally go Walker. I just feel like he's more nailed on. You're going to know that he's going to start every week, certainly in the next few weeks. You know what position he's going to play. But I think it will switch to Cucurella in the future. But I think tripling up on Manchester City, I think, is a really important strategy at the moment. Looking at the fixtures. Tricky one this week, Newcastle at home, but then Palace, Forest, Villa, Spurs, Wolves, Manchester United, Southampton. You've got quite a nice run of 8 fixtures there, and, could lock in quite a few clean sheets for Man City there, looking at, what they've conceded so far. Mohammed, play Andreas or De Silva? I think I've answered this question before. Andreas. DJ Cool sold Dean for Ake. Thoughts? I mean, you must be more confident than me that Ake is going to get the minutes. I mean, he's playing 90 minutes first 2. I just can't see that continuing. Let's be honest. I think that's something that we've got to bear in mind there. King Harry says Zaha from game week 8 onwards. I think you can back Zaha now. I mean, he's got a goal already this season. He looked really good in pre-season. You kind of know that, bar 19-20, over the last 4 seasons, he's been a 10 goals a season man. He's the kind of player that you need to put block him in your team and just play him every single week and enjoy those FPL points. So that is what I would be thinking on that one. Fixtures are not too bad. You know, Man City away game week 4, you may think that's a tough fixture, but I've seen Zaha doing good things in the past against Man City. So do not let that put you off. Keep the questions coming, guys, if you haven't done already. We're at 82 likes now, so come on, let's get to 100 likes. I'll be absolutely buzzing, and I think there's almost 200 of you in now as well, so thank you so much for joining me. Liam has asked, completely lost my place in the chat now, guys, trying to multitask. Is it worth going Reece James instead of Robertson? I'm a bit nervous to do it because then I'd only have 2 Liverpool assets. If you have only got 2 Liverpool assets, that opens up the door to then tripling up with Diaz. And I think Reece James could be the better option anyway at the moment. So I would certainly look at considering that move. Is something that I'm looking at doing at the moment. So don't let it put you off. I think that could be a really good strategy. Abhinav, start Andreas or Bailey and Trippier first bench. I would start Andreas and I would put Trippier first bench. I think that is the way to go. Lewis says, hello Holly. Hi Lewis, thanks for joining. I'm good, thank you. Thank you for asking. Mohammed, play Andreas or De Silva. You've asked me that already. Stop spamming the chat. Kevin, your thoughts about Mahrez? I think if you've got Mahrez at the moment, you need to move him on. There are far better options. Kulusevski looks like he's had a really great start to the season, so I would consider him. Maddison, we've already discussed him on today's stream. Saka, we've already discussed as well. I think all of those are better options. GV Sub says, against Bournemouth, all potential strikers can score, and add Odegaard to the list as well. 4-0. 4-0 for Arsenal against Bournemouth. You're making me want to change my captaincy from Salah to Jesus. If you haven't already voted in the poll, guys, please do as well. It'd be great. I will get onto that before the end of the stream. We're going to be here for at least another 20 minutes or so answering questions. Saranik, who to play, Raya or Ward? I think I'd play Ward. I actually fancy Leicester to keep their first clean sheet of the season. I think they've got an easier fixture than Brentford. I'm teetering on 99 likes, guys. Come on, help me over the 100 mark. That's really going to help me out, guys. I would love to see getting to those 100 likes in this video. If we continue on with the questions as well, because I want to get a few more answered during today's stream. Next question, if I try and find what I've done with the chat now. Here we go. Nice hat. Yeah, I've taken the hat off. I got annoyed, the stream died, but we're back. We're back. It's all right. It's all good. Theo, the captain in my heart is Haaland, but I'm following the popular pick in order to stay with the pack. Make your own decisions on captaincy. I know all the advice is out there, but at the end of the day, make your own decision on your team and own it, because you'll be far happier going with Haaland as your decision and he blanks than going with Salah or Jesus because me or someone else has recommended it and then they fail to deliver. You've got to play the game and play your own team in there. Matthew says best Neto replacement. I would actually hold on to Neto. I know I've obviously benched him this week, but he has looked good in terms of underlying numbers. And then Newcastle, Bournemouth, Southampton, I think is a nice run. I know Newcastle's a tough fixture, but it's at home. If we have a look again at Neto's underlying numbers using the Hub OptiStats tool, he's had 3 shots, 2 key passes. He's kind of been unlucky to not deliver any attacking returns yet, and they are going to come. So try and stay patient with that because those returns are definitely coming. So that would be my advice on that one. 100 likes, guys. Thanks so much. Make sure you vote on the poll as well. Breno, thoughts on Højbjerg? Looking for a replacement for Neto. He's not the sort of player you want in FPL. He's too defensive. King Metabolic, who do I captain, Kane or Haaland? I'd go Kane. In terms of Man City's fixture this week against Newcastle, remember Newcastle are the only other team yet to concede a goal this season. I do think there is going to be space for Haaland and Manchester City. With it being a home game for Newcastle, they are going to want to attack. They're not going to want to play completely defensive. So for that reason, I think Haaland will get some chances. Whether he's clinical enough to score, given limited chances, I don't know. So for that reason, I think, Kane's got the easier fixture, so just Captain Kane. Soam says, do I start Trippier or De Silva? I think I'd start Trippier. I just like his offensive returns as well. What do you think about the early wild card? Bad start and currently sitting around the 3 million mark. Yeah, I wouldn't be put off by the early wild card. You've got to look at this season. It's a very different season. We've got the unlimited transfers at the World Cup where everyone's teams will change. So this team, even if you wildcard now going into game week 3, you can keep with that team right the way through to game week 16. It's not a massive amount of time, so it wouldn't give me any concern on wildcarding now if you need to. If you've got, 4 or 5 players that need changing. Trini says, who's your captain this week, Holly, and why? The $1 million question. Salah and Jesus were the only 2 options I considered. Jesus has got the form. Salah's got the fixture and the history in this fixture. Got a hat-trick last season, 24 points in a 5-0 win at Old Trafford. And based on current form of Manchester United, that could easily happen again. So, I mean, Jesus is a very good option. Because I've been on Salah all week, I refuse to change it this close to the deadline. So that's where I'm at with it. Lewis said, congratulations on Sky Sports. Thank you. 10:40 tomorrow. That's why we've got the new background, because Sky basically asked me from the last time I was on whether I could jazz up the background. So that's what I've done. Got some football shirts in the background. So I hope you're appreciating them. But if you want all the preview ahead of that final countdown to the deadline, Sky Sports News at 10:40 UK time tomorrow. I think you can only get it in the UK though, unfortunately. Saranic says, who to play, Raya or Ward? That would be Ward. Yeah, Lewis, to answer your question about the hub, I basically just use their tools on the stream to, showcase dilemmas, comparing players, looking at Optstats and things like that. And all of that's available with the Fantasy Football Hub memberships. You can get the link in the description. Gets you 50% off, but that is ending very soon. Let me jump back over to the chat window so I can see the questions coming in. Gianpaolo, do we downgrade Robertson? I'm considering it, but I think you give him this week with the fixture. Matthew, thank you. Thanks for the kind words. Appreciate that. Yeah, it is a concern, Deadly Mantis, by thinking about comparing players after 2 games, but we have to just go with what we know already, which is why I've done it. But I do appreciate that it is a small sample size. So for that reason, I think, it is viable to look at, looking over a better window of time than the one we've mentioned in there. Got too many windows open now. Struggling to see what I've got going on. Please don't just post your whole team in the chat, guys, because I'm not going to be able to go through it. Dan says, should I sell or hold Mount if he blanks in game week 3? I think you're right giving him one more game. I think you have to sell him after game week 3. That would be the strategy that I would go for in there. Matthew, is your daughter playing FPL this season? No. She's only 3. Well, I've got 2, to be fair. I've got 2 daughters, 3 and 1. But yeah, they're a little bit young for playing FPL at the moment. I'm trying to educate them on football, take the eldest one to football every week. But I think we're going to be another few years off before I can get her playing FPL, that's for sure. Can't wait for that day to happen though. I mean, I won't force it on her if she doesn't want to play it, but, going to have to try and guide her in the right direction. Kwame, I've got Bailey, De Silva and Neto. Which of them do you suggest I start alongside Salah and Martinelli in a 5-3-2. I think I backed Neto this week over those three. Let's try and keep it friendly in the chat, guys. Amith says Kane over Salah captain. I mean, Salah has got a great record against Manchester United, but so does Kane against Southampton. Quite a nice fixture for him. So I think both are credible options in there. Keep the questions coming, guys. I'm going to be here for at least another 10 minutes. I'll try and answer as many of them as I can. I'm trying to go through them in order, but you can bump yourself up with a pinned one if you would like to. Theo says, I think you should use this week to decide who to drop between Trent and Robbo and get a 5 million defender like Cucurella. Yeah, if Liverpool have a poor defensive performance, then I would be willing to sell probably Robertson. The thing that I'm thinking about, though, when I'm considering making these moves, is that both Trent and Robertson impressed me from an offensive perspective last time around against... who did they play last week? Can't remember. Crystal Palace, that was it. So Robertson had one shot, so the underlying numbers didn't look good, but the eye test certainly looked good. Trent has had 4 shots and created 6 chances. So of the two, Trent looks the better option right now, but admittedly that double up could be a little bit too much. So that's the reason why I'm maybe looking at moving away. Matt, thank you for the super chat. Really do appreciate that. Would you bench boost Ward, Andreas, Williams and De Silva this week, providing the team news is okay? I can see the temptation if you start the season with Ward. You know, 2 good fixtures there for your goalkeepers, I'm presuming. Andreas and Williams look like good options. De Silva probably the weak link. It's okay. We do know that we're going to have double game weeks later in the season though. So I think the double game weeks later in the season would be a better opportunity, Matt. But if you want the freedom of not having to play with a lot of money on your bench later in the season, it could pay off doing it in the single game weeks. But you need to be absolutely certain that every player in your squad starts, because we do see a little bit of rotation. The things that you have got to think about is that, you know, your bench at the moment is a lot weaker than it would be later in the season because team value is lower. So I do think that there'll be better opportunities later in the season. But if that's the way you want to play it, do it. But remember, those double game weeks can provide some really good hauls. Thank you for the super chat though as well, Matt. Chris has said, any good replacement for Grealish at the same price? Let me have... Grealish is 7, right, isn't he? I think. So we're looking at midfielders up to 7 million. I mean, Rodrigo would probably be the first place I would go. That's assuming that you already own Martinelli. I'd say Martinelli top, then Rodrigo. Don't really know after that. I mean, there's been a lot of love for Pascal Gross, but personally I don't know whether I'm feeling it. Don't mind Zaha as an option either. They're the sorts of players that I'd be looking at. I think there's a lot of Rashford owners that are in a similar position this week as well. Richwick, Cancelo, Ramsdale and Greenwood out for Sanchez, Cucurella and Tony for a -4. No, you don't want to be selling Cancelo or Ramsdale. Keep them. Cucurella is not as good an option. Paul has said hello. Sorry if I'm like 20 minutes late saying hello back to you, Paul. Thank you for joining. 127 likes now, guys. You guys are doing fabulous. Shall we try and get it to 150? If you're in here at the moment, 183 of you in here. Let's try and get it up to 150. Let's see what else we've got going on. Dara says Neto to Josh De Silva, have 2 free transfers and also considering Gabriel to Cucurella. I would keep Gabriel. I wouldn't move Neto to Josh De Silva unless it's for De Silva to be your bench player. I think Neto is a player you can start in your 11 every week. De Silva isn't going to get you the same level of returns. It's, you know, fluke and a small sample size, the fact that he's managed that to date. Harvey, this is the other thing as well that I haven't mentioned with De Silva before I move on from him. This is why I was flabbergasted by the number of transfers this week. 10% owned now. 31 minutes in game week 1, 61 minutes game week 2. He's coming back from a long injury. I'm not feeling the love, guys. Apologies if you have transferred him in this week, but I have to be honest. Harvey says, do I like the look of Aronson from Leeds? Yep, but I also like the look of Rodrigo and Jack Harrison. I think Rodrigo's going to get a lot of goals. Harrison's going to get a lot of goals and assists. Aronson's going to get a few assists, but in that hierarchy, that's where I'm looking at the moment. Amit says, is Perisic going to play? I wish we knew. I wish someone had asked him in his press conference. It doesn't look conclusive at the moment, but because it's the early game, we may get some early team news. Omnishambles, watching the Palace game. Liverpool look good. Palace just defended well. Yeah, agree with that. Cheaping says, should I captain Sterling as a differential? I mean, Leeds aren't that bad. And I mean, I know they have been in the past, but there's no guarantees that they're going to continue to be as bad as they were last season. I've not seen enough from Sterling yet to think, let's captain him. I think there are plenty of better captain options this week. By the way, guys, it looks like from what Fabrizio Romano has been tweeting that Casemiro is on his way to Manchester United. Hopefully not in time for Monday. Where else are we at with questions? Donny, good day. Thanks for joining, Donny. 2 free transfers, moved off Dean last night to Gabriel. I like that move. Using the second free transfer, moving from Watkins to Tony or Welbeck. Yeah, I like Tony and Welbeck. I also like Mitrovic. I think all of them are very good moves, so I would look at considering all of them. I think Welbeck, just on fixtures, could be the one to go for. I mean, it's tough. The thing that can put me off Mitrovic is the fact that the fixtures are difficult. But then he's someone that can score 40 goals a season. We saw it last season. Welbeck's a bit more of a punt. Tony, you kind of know what you're getting because he's on pens. I think of Tony and Welbeck. Maybe you already own Mitrovic. I think I'd go with Tony. Another super chat from Matt. Thank you, mate. Edison starting goalkeeper. I'm trying to counter a 12-point hit with the bench boost instead of wildcarding, as I think the wildcard will be better in game week 9. If I'm honest, Matt, it sounds like you're on tilt. It does. Obviously, Edison is, a really good goalkeeper. Ward has got good clean sheet prospects, but I do not think, just because you're taking a 12-point hit, I don't think you should then counteract it with the bench boost, because that bench boost could score you a lot more than what it's going to score you this week later in the season. So if you really want to do it, go for it. I'm not going to tell you not to do it, but I do think there'll be better opportunities. And I think at the moment you're zoned in on the fact that you had the Darwin red card potentially, and that you've taken a -12, rather than focusing on, is it really a good option this week? Yeah, a good piece of advice from Trini is to make sure you set a good vice captain. If you are going Salah captain, make sure your vice captain is a player that you would be happy to be your captain, because there is a possibility that we could see too much disruption for the game to go ahead between Manchester United and Liverpool with the protests planned. I've lost my place in the chat again. Not doing very well today, am I? Where were we? I will get there, sorry guys. I am going to stay on another 5 minutes or so as well. So if you've have got any quick questions, do put them in and we'll answer them. I think it's because we've had a lot of repeat questions. We've made 150 likes, guys, though, so thank you so much. Jorit says, is using a couple of hits a good strategy versus using the wild card? I think I'd probably just use the wild card. That's something I could say to you, Matt, as well. I know you've got game week 9 as an option for wild card, but a -12 is a lot to recover. You could just wild card instead of playing a bench boost. It's not too late. When you do your -12, that'll get you, when you hit the wild card button, your -12 will go. Reese says Martinelli or Saka. I think Martinelli's the better option. FPL Diamond replacing Robbo with James. I'm going to give Robertson a little bit longer, but I can see your appeal of going with that move now. So don't be put off. Would I take Gomez as a cheap Liverpool centre-back for a few weeks? I think there's better options. Perisic to Cucurella or Walker. Yeah, it's a move that I've looked at making myself. I can see the appeal for that one. FPL Shorts, similar rank as you, Holly. Thank you. Painful start to the season, I know. Few hits already. Good luck for the game week from Matt. Thank you, Matt. Nice words there. If you've not already voted in the poll, guys, I've had 431 votes, which is amazing. Try and just get in before we have a look in the next few minutes. I'll try not to end it prematurely. Reese, which two should I start? Neco Williams, Leon Bailey, Pedro Neto or Andreas Pereira? I would start Neco and Andreas. FPL Diamond, 100.9 team value. That's amazing. Dara, don't sell Neto for Josh De Silva. Not to start him every week anyway. Hey Harry, thanks Niraj. Hi Abodo. Gary says, love the Grimsby shirt. I'm a London Mariner. Nice to see another Grimbarian on the stream, Gary. What are you doing in London now? You know Grimsby's the place to be. Is John Stones fit and available? Good question. We'll have to take a look at Pep Guardiola's press conference. Right, I will answer a few late questions if anyone is going to pin them, but I am going to end the poll now and have a look at these results. So the results from the poll, we've had 435 votes, 65% have gone Salah, that doesn't work, 65% Salah, 34% Gabriel Jesus. What are you doing to me, YouTube? That is poor rounding. Should make 100. That is really going to annoy me, guys, now. But who to captain? Obviously, Salah is the favourite with you guys on stream, whether it's been because I've been sat there with Salah captain all stream that's convinced you to go that way. Make your own decision on it, though, guys. But I do think that, you know, Jesus is a very good captain option as well this week, which is why he is my vice captain. So just to confirm then, my team for game week 3, I think I will roll the transfer and run with this team. Fingers crossed. Hopefully you've enjoyed the stream. Do apologise that I lost some of you in the middle. Do not know how that happened. My computer just decided to switch itself off. But I think hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have, do let me know. Hit that like button if you haven't already and the subscribe button as well. It's been great to have so many questions in and great to get some feedback on the background. This is the background I'm going to be rocking with on Sky Sports tomorrow. So hopefully I've got the seal of approval from you guys. Hopefully the guys there like it as well. Niraj, it's always adding to 99% on the YouTube vote. The other 1% goes to YouTube. It's just bizarre. Thank you so much, guys, though, for joining. If you are still interested in using those Fantasy Football Hub membership tools that I showed you in this video, hit the link in the description to get 50% off. It ends very, very soon, probably tomorrow. Maybe I shouldn't have told you that, but yeah, that's where you need to be for that. Thank you so much for joining. By the way, next week I'm on holiday, so you're going to have to wait 2 weeks until you get another stream from me, but hopefully it'll be worth the wait, and hopefully my computer won't decide to switch yourself off. But thank you so much for joining. It's been a pleasure, and I'll be back very soon with another video. Good luck for FPL Game